So the topic is let us start the new module, that is the fourth module today. So the name of the module is this, that is digital transmission or communication through band limited channels. So that is the name of the topic. So we are going to study digital transmission, or in other words communication through band limited channels. So you all know what is the meaning of communication. Communication means transmitting information from one end to another end. Okay, but on what medium we are transmitting? We are transmitting the signal through band limited channels. So that is the very important thing. So this module consists of how to transmit the signal over a band limited channel without causing any distortion in the output or in the received signal. That is the aim of the topic. So we will go one by one and we will understand the basic concepts. So the main very important thing in this module is the concept of intersymbol interference, that is a type of distortion which should be discussed now, and what are the ways to avoid that distortion called as intersymbol interference. This is the main aim of the topic. So what is that intersymbol interference? How exactly it will occur? What is the reason and how to overcome that? That we will see today. Okay, so let me start get into the topic exactly. Transmission through band limited channels. So what is a band limited channel? By the name itself, one can understand that a band limited channel means a channel having limited bandwidth. So if you observe the graph over here, so I have drawn a graph over here. Okay, so this is this is an example of a band limited channel. So what do you understand by this graph? The channel will allow the signals having bandwidth equal to BC. That, in other words, the channel will not allow any signal whose bandwidth is greater than BC. That is the meaning. If the signal is having any frequency components which is greater than BC, then the channel is not going to allow the signal. So that is called as the band limited channel. Okay, that is what it has been written. And another thing is how exactly you are going to distinguish a channel, whether a channel is, there are two types of channels, that is a baseband channel and a band pass channel. So baseband channel means the channels whose frequency response contains the zero frequency. Frequency response is having a zero frequency component, then that type of channel is said to be baseband channel. Or in other words, if the frequency response is low pass in nature, by this time you know what is low pass and high pass, band pass, etc. If the frequency response is low pass in nature, frequency response of what? Frequency response of the channel. If the frequency response of the channel, if it is low pass, then that type of channel is called as a band limited channel. Sorry, is called as a baseband band limited channel. If at all the frequency component of the channel, if it doesn't contain the zero frequency, then those channels are said to be band pass channels. Okay, so let us not bother about the band pass channels. Currently we will work with baseband channels only. So what is a baseband channel? Just observe this: the channel whose frequency response is low pass in nature. This is a low pass response, anybody can say. So that type of channel is called as a baseband channel. So we are taking a baseband channel. So what is the limit of the bandwidth, or what is the highest frequency the channel can allow? Let us not bother about the negative frequencies, just concentrate only on the positive frequencies. So the highest frequency component the channel can allow is BC, is the highest frequency component. So what is the bandwidth? Bandwidth is equal to the bandwidth of the channel is equal to BC. So that's what it has been written. If the channel is a baseband channel, that is band limited to BC hertz, any frequency components at the input that are higher than BC will not be passed by the channel. The channel itself is acting as a filter. So now, if you observe the channel characteristic, if you carefully observe the channel characteristic, it is low pass in nature. So therefore, what can we do is we can model the channel in the form of a filter. So I can assume the channel, whatever the channel which is represented over here, this channel, I can assume it as a low pass filter with cutoff frequency equal to BC. Now, in this particular channel, you are going to transmit the information. Okay. So the channel is this is the frequency response. Yes. So the C of f is the frequency response. Corresponding time domain is represented as C of t. What is C of t? Is since we are modeling the channel as a filter, it should have some impulse response. So therefore, C of t is referred to as the impulse response of the channel. C refers to channel. So what is the summary till now we have learned? We are working with a baseband channel. Baseband channel means that is a low pass channel that you are come to know. Okay. Yes. So it will allow frequencies up to BC, and any frequency greater than BC, the channel will not allow. So therefore, the channel is acting as a filter. Okay. Any filter is associated with an impulse response. So therefore, we will name the impulse response of the channel as C of t. Over here you are observing C of t is the impulse response of the channel. So now we have understood the characteristics of the channel. Now what we will do, we will send a pulse and simple electric pulse to the channel, and we will see how can we extract the output, or how can we how can we get back the information which we have transmitted. So that we will see in the coming slide. See, now if you carefully observe this particular diagram, just observe this box, okay, or this block. So what has been written? This is nothing but the channel. Okay, the channel is modeled as a filter. Currently, what type of filters we are using? We are using a low pass filter. The channel is a low pass filter with impulse response C of t and frequency response capital C of f. To this channel, which looks like a linear filter, I am sending a pulse. So the pulse is represented in this format, that is gt of t. So you need not bother too much what would be the shape of the pulse. Currently, don't bother about the shape of the pulse. Currently, you think that yes, I am sending some signal over to the channel. Remember, what type of signal you are supposed to send? Since the channel is baseband in nature, carefully here, since the channel is baseband in nature, or since the channel is low pass in nature, you are supposed to send a low pass signal only. So gt of t may be some low pass signal which you are transmitting, which you want to transmit over the channel. So then we will have this type of analysis. So anyhow, you know what is a filter, what would be the filter output. So what is the filter output over here? H of t. Exactly what is the filter? The filter is the channel. So therefore, H of t is usually H of t won't be used as output, but in the textbook given that he has used the H of t as the output of the filter only. So we will take the same naming convention. Okay, so what is this H of t? H of t is the output of the filter. Then what is the excitation to the filter? It is the pulse which needs to be transmitted. So therefore, since this is at the transmitting end, they have used the subscript capital T. There is no need to use, but even at the receiver, they are going to use some subscript. So therefore, to have a uniformity and match, they are using the subscript. Okay, so therefore, how could you write the channel output? The channel output, just observe channel output. You are modeling the channel as a filter. Okay, yes. So h of t equal to, obviously you know what is this, gt of t convolution with c of t. That has been written. They have directly given the formula, or over here it has been written c of t convolution with gt of t. That is the channel output. Here we know what are the channel characteristics. Here the channel is of band limited in nature. That is one characteristic of the channel, and the other characteristic of the channel is it will provide, or it will introduce, additive noise. Okay, so that additive noise is represented by the variable n of t. Okay, and has, since it is additive, it adds to the signal. The plus sign has been shown. So therefore, at the receiver, what are you going to get? The received signal consists of the channel output or the filter output along with the noise. So what does the channel will do? It will filter your input signal. If the input signal is too wide, it will filter according to the bandwidth and will give you the output as h of t. Okay, what is n of t? N of t is the noise. So totally what are you receiving? You are receiving two signals. One is h of t and another one is n of t, where n is the noise and h of t is the channel response. Okay, that is true. And we will come back to h of t again. It is given by this convolution formula, c of t star gt of t. If you employ the Fourier transforms, you are going to get h of f equals c of f into gt of f. This is this Fourier transform treatment should be given, because during the course of the lecture we are going to work with the frequency responses. So some concepts would be better understood if we display the frequency response curve, and some concepts would be easily explained if we will work with the time domain functions. Okay, so that is the reason why in the textbook he will both write the time domain expressions and the frequency domain expressions. Okay, so let us get into the next thing. Okay, so now we know what is h. What is h? It is the channel output. What is h of f? Frequency domain representation of the channel output. And you know what is n of t? Okay, that is the noise. So total received signal is h of t plus n of t. So that is what it has been written. Let us assume that the signal at the output of the channel is corrupted by AWGN. A refers to additive white Gaussian noise. Then what is the signal at the input of the receiver, or what is the received signal? It is the summation of h of t plus n of t. Okay, so this is the signal which you have received. Okay, now from this received signal you have to get back what signal you have transmitted. All of us know what we have transmitted. What have we transmitted? We are transmitting, or we have already transmitted gt of t. So from r of t you need to extract gt of t. Yes, so in the module 2 you have studied two types of receivers. One is the correlation receiver and the matched filter receivers. So two types of receivers you have already studied. Among the two types of receivers, one receiver you have to implement. Here the implementation will be a matched filter receiver. Why are they going with respect to matched filter receiver? Because at the receiver output, carefully here, at the receiver output, if you employ matched filter type of receiver, then you are going to get a high signal to noise ratio. The signal level will be very much high when compared to the noise level. That is the reason they are going to use the matched filter at the receiver. So here I have not shown the circuit of the receiver, but what exactly the receiver contains? The receiver will contain the matched filter. So if you remember the matched filter diagram, if you remember it, then matched filter will always be followed by a sampler. Okay, that you can recall because you have written the test just 1 week before. So therefore, I hope you might not have forgot the concept. So okay, yes, let us come back. So what exactly the receiver will do? The receiver will employ a matched filter. You know the concept of the matched filter. What should be its impulse response? Okay, so the impulse response of the filter which is employed at the receiver is represented as GR of t. Okay, so what is the impulse response equal to? GR of t equal to h of t minus t. That means that the matched filter is matched to h of t. So what is h of t? H of t is the channel output. Okay, h of t is the channel output. They know what is the characteristic of the channel. Okay, with that they have written this. Okay, so that is gr of t is equal to h of t minus t. This is the what impulse response of the filter which is being used at the receiver. By observing this equation without any introduction, only demodulator employs matched filter and all, let us not use that. If I give that in the receiver you are having a filter with this as the impulse response, then anybody can say that okay, in the receiver I am using a matched filter. Okay, that's true. Here, there is capital T. What does this T represents? Basically, in simpler words, T represents the width of the pulse. Or what if you are transmitting any digital data, you are representing the symbol width. What is the duration of the symbol? That is represented by this. So okay, so now what has happened actually is we have received the signal R of t. Okay, that received signal will be sent through the matched filter. So then what happens? What next will happen? If you observe a small diagram over here, just observe this diagram. See, you just, this is a different diagram, but it will serve the purpose. Some input data was there. Okay, okay, it has been transmitted through the channel. Okay, and in an additive noise has been added. So you have received the signal. The signal is again passed through a receiving filter. So the output of the filter is represented by y. So what is y of t? Y of t is nothing but the output of the receiving filter or the matched filter employed at the receiver. So okay, so that is the thing. After that, what immediately follows is the sampler. Okay, that you are supposed to remember. So therefore, once I pass the signal through the receiver matched filter, immediately I am going to sample. Sample at what time? At t is equal to t. If I do this type of procedure, then only I am going to get which symbol has been transmitted. So this is a procedure. So the explanation has been given in the second module only. Remember one thing, if you are using a matched filter at the receiver, what it should contain is we should have a filter followed by a sampler. So that is the procedure. Therefore, what they have written is the signal component at the output of the matched filter is given by. So you can in the module 2 we have obtained this in the form of time domain equations, but here we are working with the frequency domain equations. That is the thing. So this could be proved. How can I there is a written formula over here. Ys of t is equal to integral from minus infinity to plus infinity h of f square into d of f. How can you get this? This could be obtained by doing small derivation, but currently the derivation is not in the scope. It could be done. It is very simple. So directly we are writing the sampled matched filter output ys of capital T. What is this y? Y refers to y andre enu? Y refers to output of the matched filter. Okay. Yes. So then what does this S represents? S represents the sampler. The matched filter output Y has been sampled at time t. Then if you sample, so what is the value you are going to get is given by EH. What is this EH? E refers to energy. Okay. H refers to H of t. Means if you sample the output of the matched filter, then what are you going to get? You are going to get a term called as EH. So what does this EH contain? What does this EH represents? EH represents the energy contained in H of t. Now recall what is H of t. What is H of t? It is nothing but the channel output. It is nothing but the channel output. So what exactly the channel output contains? It contains the convolution of, or it is nothing but the convolution of your signal, transmitted signal, or yes, the transmitted signal with C of t. If you assume that C of t is 1, 1 means unity, then what are you going to get as H of t? You are going to get entire G of t. What you assume is the C of t, the value is 1, delta function. Then what are you going to get? H of t is approximately equal to Gt of t only. So therefore, what is the energy of H of t? It is nothing but equal to energy of Gt of t, or energy of the transmitted signal. That is how they are going to construct a receiver. So this is the basic explanation. So today what have we learned? Let me revise in a very 2 or 3 minutes. So we are working with digital transmission through band limited channels. Digital transmission means transmission of digital data. Okay, on what type of channel? Band limited channel. So what is the characteristic of the band limited channel? Here we are very much bothered about a baseband channel or a low pass channel. So this channel, it will allow the signals, it will allow the signals whose frequency components is less than BC. Any signal whose frequency component crosses the BC, then the channel will attenuate, or it won't allow the signal to flow through it. Such type of channels we are working with. So over this type of channel, we are going to transmit the signal. So the transmitted signal is represented as Gt of t, where this capital T is not time duration or any time. It is not, this T represents the transmitter. Okay. So remember, how did we express the channel? The channel is being expressed in terms of filter. Why? Because it will allow only some frequencies and it will not allow the other frequencies. So therefore channel is modeled as a filter. So that therefore we have written a block diagram for the channel. Till now we have not written such type of block diagrams for a channel. So now we are writing. So what is H of t? H of t is the channel response, or the output of the channel. So how it is obtained? It is nothing but Gt of t in convolution with C of t, and we have given the frequency domain formula also. Okay, this much we have done. Then what would be the signal which is received at which we are getting at the receiving end? Yes, the channel output. And yes, along with that, the channel will also add the additive white or Gaussian noise. So therefore the received signal is H of t plus N of t. What does H of t essentially contain, or what is hidden in this H of t? What is hidden means the signal which we have transmitted is being hidden in the H of t. Okay, that is evident by this particular equation. H of t is equal to C of t convolution with Gt of t. Okay, so now the received signal is given. So what will you do with this received signal? You are supposed to detect and demodulate. Remember, here we are not doing any modulation, but usually modulation would be done. So therefore, by knowingly we have written the word by name demodulator. Here we are just sending the signal without using any carrier. So therefore, I am not doing the exact modulation. Okay, leave it. So now what are we doing? We have the receiver. So the receiver will use a matched filter. Okay, matched filter, then you can easily write the response of the matched filter. So what is the impulse response of the matched filter? Gr of t is equal to h of t minus t. By this equation, what can you understand? The receiver filter is matched to h of t. What is h of t? It you know by this time. Okay, what is this capital T? Normally it would be your pulse duration. Okay, that is the case. And this gr of f is, it is nothing but the frequency domain representation of gr of t. Then what would you do? You will collect the output of the matched filter. Then you won't stop over there. What would you do? You will sample the output of the matched filter. When you sample, you are going to get some term or some value. What is this value? This value is nothing but the is related to your transmitted signal. Here, what are we getting? We are getting EH as the answer. How should you interpret this EH as EH? What is EH? E refers to energy, H refers to H of t. So while solving this, what we understood? We got the energy of the signal in H of t. So what is H of t? H of t is the channel output. What essentially it contains? It essentially contains gt of t. So therefore, what am I exactly getting? I am getting the exactly I'm or exactly what are in exactly or indirectly we are getting the energy of the transmitted signal. Okay. Yes. uh, by this we will stop today's class and we will continue the session in the tomorrow's class. Okay.